welcome to a very special edition of Wineglass Family Piano Hour. As you can tell, the subject today is listening to Black America. There's so much going on right now in the world, and there's a lot I want to get to, and this is a very special one. Also, I want, for those of you who've been watching and keeping track, we in fact did not do we ended up canceling on Friday. There was so much going on, not just in the world, but in our personal lives. And I'm going to draw a little parallel here in a minute to what's happening. First of all, I wasn't watching the news, wasn't paying attention. I was off Facebook, if you can imagine, for a few days. Kim and I were having a very awesome, probably best week of the lockdown. And I'm going to be honest to say it was followed immediately by the worst. We have had up and downs now, and I believe in the lockdown itself, it's forcing us to look at ourselves deeper, and our shadows are coming up in many cases, and it's an opportunity to heal and to grow. And so we all have to look at that to some degrees or another. So it's quite a parallel for me to realize that I have a lot of work to do, and to make this ship run and to look at it, look closer at that. Kim and I have been together for 15 years, and the work's never done. And for me, the parallel being that I look outside and I see, oh my goodness, the shadow is so real now in America. Black Lives Matter. The voices need to be heard. And I'm going to be honest. There's been a lot of tears. There's been a lot of pain in our home, and I know in a lot of homes. We all have a role to play, and we all have a responsibility. I am honoring all our friends and brothers and sisters who have been out on the street. That is such a noble cause right now, to be out there in solidarity, because police officers are not necessarily the good guys. Oh yeah, let's make this sound better. Thanks, dear. Some of us have families to protect, so I am choosing to use my platform now to speak out loud. I've got a lot to share throughout today's streaming, but I want to be clear about today. This streaming is specifically because Black Americans have not been listened to, and that goes also across the board in music. And so clearly this was Kim's idea. Clearly today I want to dedicate the entire set to Black Americans, Black American music, because they should have the microphone. Before I get to that, there's a lot happening, and I want to say there's a lot of synchronicity. We have to be aware of that. When we're slowed down, we can see that. We can see opportunities to grow. So I said I'm not taking any requests today, but I'm going to take just one. And I'm going to tell a story first about this request. I'm going back to 2011. Part of my journey with Kim was to heal and grow and to be in personal development experiences, and that's something that was profound for us to develop. So back in 2011, one of the greatest, most intentional things we did ever in my life was to go deep into the jungles of Peru, to meditate and to be in peace and to be in isolation, meditating on how to grow deeper as a person and to face our demons and our shadows. And from there, I created so much out of that. It was the most profound experience of my life. And so the way the story goes is, if you can imagine Jeremy at his greatest, as the brightest light shining possible, coming out of there, going through the shadows, going through the work and the fire. And on the airplane, after we were coming back from Lima, or we were going to Lima from Pucallpa, and I met a man named Javier, and he called me just a few days ago, and he remembered me from this moment, and he asked me, he connected with me about his daughter who is having a birthday, and it was just on May 25th. And Javier, and if you're watching, I want to take this opportunity to go back to what the connection we made and how powerful that was. For you to call me, I'm deeply honored that my music has been touching you all these years, and you're reminding me what's important, and that's family, and the fact we both have daughters. And your daughter, Deborah Isabella, I wanted to say happy birthday to you directly. And I am going to be out of my comfort zone and be vulnerable too, as I've already been. And I want to share with you an improvised song. I've sat with your picture, I've sat with your energy, and I am feeling into this song. And before that, this is even better. Here, I want you to meet my daughter, Melody. You want to say hi? Now, we haven't met Isabella, or Deborah Isabella, but do you want to say happy birthday to her?
Happy birthday.
All right, thank you. I wrote Melody a song too. I've played it a lot, so maybe you can look back and see one of those songs. Sweet melody. So, without further ado, I'm going to play my one request for today. It's very special. An improvised song for Isabella. Deborah Isabella. Happy birthday to you and Deborah Isabella, and to your family. Um, Thank you. And we are going to breathe that in, breathe this in, breathe in the love that we all are in this very, uh, very stressful and fearful time that it feels like for the planet and for us here in America. I want to tap back in now and go through um, some of my favorite music written by Black Americans and with voices that have made such amazing contributions to music, and never, and in a lot of cases, never got credit for. And also, and like I said, we're not taking. I don't want to necessarily take requests today, but just to know that you can please. We are accepting our virtual tips today, and I want you to all know, because we are going to be donating all of it to Campaign Zero, who does work to lessen the police brutality. So we're gonna contribute, do our part in contribution to what we can. So you can either contribute directly to Campaign Zero, when Kim just put the link up there, or just give us the tip jar. As you can see, Venmo, PayPal, or Zelle, and we are going to be passing along those tips. Yeah. Do you want it?
Yeah, I think just the idea was that's what we chose for where we're going to send donations. But of course, if you have your own organization that you want to contribute to, we welcome that as well. That just is, if anyone, just so you know, if anyone does, we're not expecting tips, but if you do send anything, then that's where we'll be sending it. But you can also feel free to donate directly or to your own, organization of choice.
Thanks, Kim. Well said. All right. So another. So we're gonna end up. I'm gonna end up starting with a little jazz, and I think what's funny is I wasn't ever gonna actually do a jazz theme because of all the genres. I'm not as up to par. I'm gonna be honest there, but this is a time to go for it and be vulnerable and play. So I'm gonna do my best. Jazz is so important in American history. I mean, I feel like it's sometimes not the credit given to what the contribution is. So we're gonna start. I've got a little. I'm just gonna come right out the gate with a tough one. Oh, by the way, I opened with "It Don't Mean a Thing," Duke Ellington. Now I'm gonna do a little Dizzy Gillespie, and this is "A Night in Tunisia." And here we go. You'll see how it goes. All right, that was that was not a walk in the park for sure. That was "A Night in Tunisia." I'm just going for it. That's one of the tougher jazz tunes I've played. It's usually easier with a band, of course, with a trio. When the piano does all the work, it can get tricky, and there's a tricky rhythm in that. But we're going for it today. Taking a tour of some of the best, most influential music of Black America in music, because right now they deserve the microphone, and so that is what we're going to do, and we're gonna keep moving through. Um, Yeah, yeah. To be clear, this is my way. As a white man, it might be ironic, but I am being clear that it's not. This is the theme today, to pay homage and to give the microphone specifically there. So if you're just joining us, hi friends, I see you. Hi Samantha, thanks for joining. We are dialing in today, giving a voice and listening to Black America. As we keep going, I'm gonna play a little Billie Holiday, and I also want to say, a lot of my friends are wondering, um, what can they do? A lot of white friends, what can they do to help? How can they be allies? And we want to be able to help. And there's many ways to that, but what I want to focus on is how to educate ourselves, be open to learn. And I think one of the things Kim and I did, part of our growth was to and fun, get both at once, is to embark on educational documentaries. It can be anything, but to listen to Black American in some very specific, and this is what better time than now, to Netflix it and to pick good educational movies or documentaries about very important, significant Black Americans. And when specifically in music, there was or go to a live performance. I guess. Kim, why don't you tell this one? Yeah, I've been doing enough talking.
Okay. So yeah, so yeah, I mean, we definitely we try and I mean, first of all, I just love Black artists and what they've brought to my life personally, and I've always had a real affinity for the music. It's just, to me, it's always been very soulful. And so anyway, whenever we see an opportunity for a film or maybe a play or something that is shedding light on the stories of these people, we always try and jump at that. And so I think it was about a year ago, actually, that we went to see a play that was called Lady Day, and it was at a local theater. So and it was last year, so obviously you can't see that now. But it was an amazing show, and it kind of specifically focused in on Billie Holiday's sort of later years. In fact, I think it was specifically her last performance, right? Was it like her last major performance where she was really, battling with her addiction to heroin? And, I mean, it really, but through the story of this play, they really got to tell the just horrific sort of life and the things that she had to go through, and all of the great things that she brought to her audiences with her music, but then the way she was treated. And it's very heartbreaking, but I think it's something that we need to be aware of and really internalize it and just learn about it and be able to understand some of the perspectives of these people. So anyway, that's that one.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that story with us. Reminding us of live performance. Now, if that's not possible right now, then there's plenty of fun things to look on Netflix. So we'll get to some of those as well soon. I've chose a Billie Holiday song. This is "Good Morning Heartache," and in the title we can feel the heartache. And this is about it's geared towards love, a relationship, the heartache of that. But we can feel even deeper right now into "Good Morning Heartache." That's always there every morning. What Black Americans have feel their whole lives, and some of us have been oblivious this whole time. And now the curtain's being opened, hopefully for many of us to see. Good Morning Heartache. All right, thank you. A little jazzing it up a little bit for y'all. Hope you are enjoying some music. If you are at home tuning in, giving you a break, hopefully, from all of the chaos and stress going on in the world. If you are in that space now to receive music, I thank you for that. We all need a moments to heal and reflect. We're all doing our part together. I'm going to play a couple more jazz tunes, and then we're going to move into we're gonna move through some of the decades here. We're still in the 50s now. I'm going to move to, but it's this is a little Duke Ellington, and I'll play a little Miles Davis for you after that. right, that was Satin Doll. Little Duke Ellington. I kept the beat going a little fast there, and we're moving through some jazz. It's been a while since I've. It's actually been a while since I've played in a jazz trio of any kind. Unless, of course, actually I did put we actually had a trio going. I had a wine glass trio, just getting going before it was 2019. We had a few gigs, and it was actually just getting started. So maybe we'll get back to those days at some point, being able to play live with other musicians. Wow, what we took for granted. But right now, doing what we can. Playing on. The music will play on. I'm gonna do one more jazz tune. I can't not do Miles Davis. So this is another really key artist. By the way, I highly recommend checking out on Netflix the Miles Davis Birth of the Cool. This is an extraordinary documentary. I think we just watched it a month ago, or a couple weeks ago, and what an astounding moment, or a life to understand. Not just, I mean, arguably the greatest jazz musician of all time, at least one of the. And we see his ups and downs several times in his life, and I think the realization that even at the most successful a black man can be in America, the highest point, he still succumbs to racism and police brutality and everything else that's happening right now. And it was such a moment to feel into that. And he's creating music, but it still can be looked down on, no matter how high he was able to rise. There was this idea that at least if you were as successful as possible, maybe it wouldn't be able to hurt you, but it wasn't the case. So it's a very powerful to feel into that. So I'm gonna do a little So What. This is one of the greatest, most inspiring jazz albums of all time. So I'm gonna play from Kinda Blue. This is So What. I probably won't try to solo too much on this. Again, I need a band. I'm not. I don't know. I'll see what I can do with this. But it's all about the bass in the beginning. Let's give it a shot. go. So what? So what if I didn't quite solo? Oh, who's behind me? Wait a minute. Who's there? What is that? By the way, we are so thrilled to have Melody home. She was gone for 10 days, and here she is. She's the light of our lives, if you can see her. Where is she? There she is. Hi. Are you glad to be home?
Yes.
Yep. She was at Grandma's for 10 days, gave us some space, and now we're all just trying to work our way through the world challenges and our own challenges, and that's I know everyone is facing right now. Let's move on to. I wanna go to let's do an inspiring song. I hope that we can somehow come back to a positive message about the world. This is Wonderful World, and it's of course Louis Armstrong singing. This was a little history of this song. It was in 1967, and it was written by Bob Thiele and George Weiss, but they originally wrote it for Tony Bennett, who turned it down. And so here you go, Louis Armstrong. And I don't know what else I want to say about it, but what a hopeful message to have for all of us to maybe help envisioning a better world, or just appreciating nature as it is, and maybe when we're at our best, hopefully one day. What a wonderful world. right. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Hi, Bruce, there on my buddy on YouTube watching. Thank you. And there's so much going on in the world. I appreciate if people are tuning in right now, or if you're catching this later after the live stream. I appreciate that as well. And as I said earlier, we're donating all proceeds to Campaign Zero, which is an organization who's fighting against police brutality. And that's what's happening right now. That's what we are demanding. We're rising up together, and that's what's happening. It's scary. It's violent out there. I know, are protesting peacefully, and there's also those that aren't, and that's generally coming from white supremacist groups and even cops themselves. So that is the word on the street, and we have footage of that. And we need to be aware of that. So I want to share things throughout this, but I'm right now. I want to say, if you are finding yourself, my white friends specifically, if you're finding yourself angry about the riotings, and you're finding yourself angry about that more so than a police killing black men specifically over and over and over and over and over again, then please take this time to introspect and ask yourself why. Where is your anger coming from? Where is your perspective? Because this has gone on far enough, and we need to speak out. And yeah, it sucks that some things are getting burnt down. And you know what? It's not even it's not even the fault of it's mostly not the fault of Black Americans who are out there peaceful protesting. First of all, gotta take a breath and stay present. So this is the time to listen. This is the time to come together, and I'm doing what I can, and we're going to donate that. And I'm speaking out right now on my platform, and I am wanting to share music as well and give a voice. If you're just joining us, just give a voice to a Black Americans' music. That's what I'm focusing on today. And again, I am not taking requests per se. I want to play specifically, stay in this gear. If you want a request of any song, anything else, then perhaps another stream is for you. But right now we are going through some of my most influential music in Black American history of music. With that, I'm going to play. We're going to go to Ray Charles, and again, also a amazing movie, of course. Ray. This is, of course, Georgia on My Mind. And it became the state's national anthem, or national song. I should say state song of Georgia. Here we are, little Ray Charles for you. Yes, thank you. Hey, brother Barry, off on Facebook. Good to see you. And yes, I'm glad I got a fellow warrior sage brother acknowledging the shirt. This is, yeah, thank you. It was a choice we made for today. This is a shirt from some of the deep meditation work we did and personal growth development we've done with Satyan with Warrior Sage and Barry. We were there together in the midst of a lot of that. So remembering our roots of growth of who we are and going back and remembering to come back to we don't have all the answers and we're always willing to learn, always willing to listen. And that's absolutely required now. It's required that we can listen to specifically our Black American friends and what's been happening this whole time. And if you find yourself in a position that you think you know how everything is, that's not the place to be right now. It's time to listen and be determined to grow and continue to grow, because that's what we can do. I think I want to tell a story as well. This comes up for me right now because this goes back to college. I want to talk about a story of growth. I'm going to take a moment here because I think that it is important. I think what we need now, one of the biggest things we need now from specifically white Americans, for us, is to speak up when we have learned something, when we have grown, when we can admit that we were wrong. We don't see that at all, and we need this right now. I'm going to start because and go back to a moment you had, or right now would be great too. For me, a very significant moment in my life was in college, and when I went to UC Santa Barbara, I transferred in the middle of the year. I was determined to get to that school, and I went in January. They only let in like 100 people, so it was a very small group, and so the odds of getting were tough. But I got in. Of course, there was no room anywhere. I had one spot in a dorm, and I remember this so well. I didn't know anybody. It was the middle of the year. I was a sophomore or a junior. It was hard to even categorize what I was. And the room I got into was the Spanish language hall. I was the only white dude in the whole hall. Did I notice that? Yes, of course I did. I never experienced something like that. And everyone was Latino. They all spoke Spanish, of course. Was their first language. And there was a hall just for them. And I was only there because there was one room open. That's it. Boy, was that eye-opening. This was in 1998. And I was certain that I wasn't racist. I was certain, because I thought I was a good person, and in one sense that was true, but not what they were talking about. And I found myself in arguments about this. And this was before the term white privilege, but they were explaining to me my white privilege, and I didn't understand it. I was so determined to speak back and to be right and to try to teach them that, you know what, we're all people. Why can't we just move past this? And I was trying to make intellectual points about it. I was talking about affirmative action because that was happening, and how fair was that? Can we all just be one and all this stuff? No. It took me 10 years later to realize that I was wrong. What they were trying to say was I was living a privileged life. It didn't matter how hard I had it, and I did have a hard life, but that was not the point. Their perspective was so much different, and I was not acknowledging that. I was not acknowledging my privilege. And it made sense later because I chose to grow, I chose to listen, and it all made sense. I'm still growing. I don't know everything, of course. I'm listening more now. So I encourage you to find ways that you can grow. I'll give you one example, and I want to get back to music. But how did you feel about Colin Kaepernick? I'm going to use that because that's a major piece in this. How did you feel about it then, and how do you feel about it now? Do you get it now that kneeling was a way to protest, and people argued? Did you argue that wasn't the place and time? That's what, in Miami, that's what policemen are doing now. They're kneeling. Some acknowledgement of the horrific atrocities that white Americans have. It's an our entire history is based on this. We have to acknowledge it. So are you feeling differently about that now? Can you see? Perhaps. That's my question. I warned everyone I'd be going on stories and perhaps tangents from music, but this is the time and place. I'm using my platform to speak up. We're gonna keep moving. I want to play some more music for you. This is well here we go. I've got Nina Simone coming up, and I mean, my goodness, she was as brilliant of an artist, musician as she was an activist, and this is exactly right. Using your platform to speak up, and boy did she. But we're gonna do her "Feeling Good" song because we're gonna feel good from all of this. That we are speaking up. It feels good. I feel good. I just said that. I feel good to make a difference. We can all make a difference, no matter how small we think it is. We all need to speak up.
So, in just bringing back the topic we were talking about earlier about some of the films or documentaries that we've watched, there's another great one that is also available on Netflix. It's called "What Happened to Miss Simone." We saw that a couple of years ago. I think it came out in 2015, and another really powerful documentary, and just great insight into some of these artists and what they contributed, as well as all of the things that were the challenges they were facing in their own lives, and then how, particularly with her, how she grappled with her, um, you know, being rising to some level of fame and as an artist, but then wanting to use that platform and her voice to speak out against the atrocities that were happening, and that caused some backlash for her, and so there's people that have risk a lot, they risk a lot to make those voices heard. So
Thanks, Kim. Yeah, and we are. She reminded me that these are a lot of documents that affected us deeply. And so, actually, if you're with us the whole show, we're gonna eventually. I guess Kim will she's gonna list everything that we're recommending in the comments as well. So you can, if you haven't seen these already, then these are must sees, especially right now if you have the time. We're gonna get to Otis Redding. This is a dock at the bay, sitting on the dock at the bay. Without further ado, here we go. All right. Thank you. Just sitting in the dock of our home. No, but we are doing what we can. Oh, hi, Pam. Yes, you love the shirt too. Another fellow warrior sage. I'm glad, yeah, and Barry was on too. We're saying hi. Barry, my roommate, actually, and one of these events, the meditations that we had been on. So part of the theme today is speaking out and being prepared to listen more and to keep growing, listening to our fellow brothers and sisters. we white Americans have a lot that we need to stand up, and we need to listen, and we need to be available. The conversation is still going. Hi, Daytig. Great to see you, my friend. Yeah, yes. Oh, which film? Oh no, I have not seen the 13th, the documentary. I'm looking at that. But that's a good. Thank you for contributing. Yeah, if you guys want to contribute, some of the most powerful documentaries that would help uh, your fellow friends, our fellow humans, to understand uh, Black Americans specifically more in this time of crisis that we need to be participating in. And one way is to continue to educate ourselves. And so that's part of it, and we need to listen. Oh, it's just called 13th. Awesome. Okay, perfect. Um, yeah, and the conversation continues. And please share it. If you have an insight or something you've learned, I mean, this is the time to say, perhaps I was wrong, perhaps I understand something better. I'm going to share that right now. I, uh, I had said at the beginning that it's been hard for us, for me and Kim as well. We're all going through our challenges, and I was off Facebook, and we canceled our show on Friday, and really heavy stuff going on, and in the world, in our lives too. And just to say, I literally didn't know how fast it had escalated outside, and because I've been off Facebook just a couple days, if you can imagine, and those couple days, and Kim, I asked her, well, where should I start, looking at what's going on, and she recommended Trevor Noah. A bit that he did from his home, of course, and I watched it. I can't remember what it's called. Maybe we'll put that link too. This was eye-opening, and it's a very very well articulated, and actually, it helped me think of understand writing on a little different terms, and I had an aha about it just watching that, and noticing that my opinion about violence not being the answer or whatever the case that I've seen friends post it's writing is not the answer, it's period, and it's like that definition, that saying period is just not, it's not being open to what the whole point is, what is happening underneath that. And watch Trevor Noah, he explained this so well, but there's a contract we have as a society, a contract, and there's an agreement that we have that things work and they function, and when the people at the top and the policemen are not fulfilling the contract, they're killing people, that's breaking a contract. So what choice do we have than to break our side of the contract? There's nothing. That's what you do. You have a contract. Your client breaks it, then it's over. You're void. You're not supposed to do anything. You're supposed to call out the atrocities. You're supposed to call out, and the only way people are listening. I'm not saying violence is a great answer, but it means that we're desperate. So my opinion changed, is what I'm saying. I was like, oh my gosh, there is a point to that, and it turns out Martin Luther King said that too. So if people are throwing his name around like oh, all peace and love is the only way, no, it's not true. He also got shot, by the way, and killed. So there's a state of emergency, and that's what's happening. And we must be able to not turn on each other and not blame whatever on people who are desperate. And we said earlier, that's not even the case. It seems like they're not even the ones, Black Americans aren't even the ones causing most of the rioting and the vandalism and the fires and the looting. But in any case, no matter how it's happening, that's not the point. The point is the injustice in our society, and we must speak out. We must support each other, and that's why I'm using my platform. And I'm looking too at some contribution here. I get on these tangents, and I had full reign to do that today. Kim said, "Yeah, go for it. It's cool." So, yeah, who's really doing the violence? That's key, Bruce. Thank you. It's a rebellion. So we can all do our part. And if you have family, if you have kids, we're not necessarily supposed to be on the street. We have to find other ways to contribute. And with that, I want to contribute some more music as we are appreciating the great music of Black Americans who don't get the microphone enough. And so here we go. I am going to, we keep moving on. We're getting, I didn't know what I was playing next, and I'm looking now. We're going to do Aretha Franklin, because this was the Otis Redding song originally, and this is a perfect transition to Respect. And we all know this song, how powerful this was. It's not just relationship. It is the Black woman. It is speaking up, demanding respect, and this is the time. So I hate apologies, but I'm gonna tell you I have not played this. I put this together last minute, so let's wing it, and we'll show some respect the best we can. RESPECT. I'm gonna find out what that means to me in a sec. That's right. Thanks, Kim. Amazing Grace. That's the documentary. Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just put the so Amazing Grace. We actually saw that in the theater when it came out, and Jeremy and I don't get to the theater very often for films, but
now no
well,
one
and
does.
now no one does. But this was it came out last year, and yeah, we went to see this in the theater. I just felt like it was something we needed to see, like in the on the big screen with the big sound and all that. And yeah, it was an I mean, it was like you felt like you were there. You felt like you were watching this, and it was really it wasn't a documentary with any commentary. It was literally just the filming of Aretha Franklin recording her gospel album, Amazing Grace, and yeah, very just powerful to watch. Her mastery and her just artistry. But anyway, now it's available on Hulu, and it's you can also purchase it on various other streaming platforms. But if you have a Hulu subscription, you can just watch it on there. And I think we should watch that one again. So
Good idea. Let's do it. So we're gonna slow it down a bit, and we're gonna jump up to a little Whitney Houston. This is the greatest love of all, and what a message as well. So let's tune into this message. Feel free to sing along or feel along. Uh, the opening lyric is, "I believe the children are our future." Let's feel into that. What world we want for our children, and how we can be better, become better human beings, and be able to support a better future for our children. All right, hope we're trying to find the greatest love within each other, and that's got to be the focal point, even amidst all the uprising. To know what we're going for is justice and love for each other, love for our brothers and sisters. That is the whole point. So we're going to stay on message, stay on point, and not fight with each other or judge. Tell the oppressed how they should be protesting. We're done with that. That has to stop. This is how it's happening. It's how it's happening now. We'll take precautions. I know it's real here in Los Angeles and all over the country. It's real. Um, my brother's girlfriend. They were out in L.A. last night, and she got attacked by a cop, like pushed against the wall, thrown against the wall. The cops are not behaving properly. And no more saying good cops. I'm done with that. You know, if they're all culpable until we demand better. There's no bad apple. They're all rotten until we have justice, and we need to speak out. Um, yeah. So keep strong, everyone. Whether you're out there or inside, wherever, whatever works for you. We're all playing our part in the grand symphony of life. We're each playing our instruments. So, and we all have a part. So we're careful not to judge what other people's roles are. Just feel into what your role is supposed to be. No matter how small you think it is, there's no small part in the orchestra. We're all playing to make music one way or another. So you're meant to do what you're meant to do, and others as well. So let's honor that and be there for each other. And thanks, Ray. I saw your post recently. Kim showed it to me, and I watched it. Oh man, what a message! What a message for us parents. And we both have 6-year-olds, so thinking it literally, specifically, it really spoke to us what you said about creating a better home environment. We're not sending Melody to school either in masks, but I'm not. I don't want to get on a tangent. We want to do what's best for our family and not live in fear, but try to create a better world of love for all of us. So thank you for that. A little Stevie Wonder. By the way, call someone and tell them that you love them. we are. Remembering to say we love each other. It's so valuable for our relationships, and even if we can't see them, we can call them. And this is a good reminder. I'm going to keep it positive right now, and there's always positive messages to make in here. Just honoring different parts of Black American music history and the different genres. I'm trying to get to as much as I can. I'm noticing I'm not going to get to all the songs I wanted to. I started with jazz, and I'm trying to move into more pop and different. I already had to skip a few songs, so I'm not going to tell you what because there's too many. It's too many. I'm just honoring it right now. What I'm looking at. So give me a second here. I'm trying to pull up one. I'm going to do Bobby McFerrin here. This is "Don't Worry, Be Happy." This was a huge song, 1988, #1 song. Came out Song of the Year, Record of the Year, and in 1989 Grammy of the Year, Grammy for the best song. So don't worry and be happy. If you can feel into that message now, let's do it. Okay, I'm going to get into some Michael Jackson for you. The song I'm going to pick for Michael Jackson is he definitely wanted to help transform the world. That was his mission, and his favorite songs were the ones that had those lyrics to transform ourselves and the world. My favorite of those is "Heal the World." So I'm going to play that for you now. Through all this pain and anguish and uprising, we ultimately want to heal the world, and that's what this takes. It takes deep shadow work on a personal level and on a global level. And we're looking at America specifically right now, and what we need, the reparations that have to happen. They have to happen, and that's painful. It's absolutely painful, and through it all, we'll be healing. We'll be a better world. Oh, it was. Oh, I'll start again. The mic wasn't on. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I was saying hi, Javier on YouTube. Thanks for being here. I see you now. If you're chiming in. If you hadn't, if you happen to miss the beginning, that's where I played a special song for your daughter's 12th birthday on May 25th, Deborah Isabel, and I improvised something for her and spoke a little about our connection. So if you are just joining us as well, anyone, the very beginning, I'm sharing a lot with that story and just with the message and kind of tying it together. Hopefully, there's a lot going on right now, and it's really a lot. And in fact, I didn't even know if we were going to do this show. We had to cancel Friday. There's a lot going on in our personal lives and the world, and it's this time to really go deep, look at our shadows, and as individually and as a society in America specifically right now. And that's what we're doing. And I'm doing what I can. I'm absolutely trying to contribute what I can right now. And we are playing all of the best Black American music that I know. And we're going to continue. We definitely have time for a few more songs. I'm going to a little Tina Turner for you. What's love got to do with it, you ask? Well, I'll show you. Hey there, Tracy, as well, saying hi, my sister. Yeah, thanks for letting me know the mic wasn't on earlier. I get a little delay here, and Kim's helping as well, so I can tell. Awesome. Yes, Barry, you are correct. Love has everything to do with it. That is the correct answer. That is right. All right. Oh, and from southern Chile, that is Carlos for joining us. Hi on YouTube. Thank you. I was wondering if I was going to hear from you today as well. Yeah. Yep. And we have Javier from Lima as well joining us, and so I am thrilled to have people around the world tuning into us, our Wineglass Family Piano Hour. This one, if you've been watching any part of it, it's been feeling a little different. I've been speaking, and I apologize now if I came across a little preachy at all. But I mean, the emotions are high and it's rising, and it's we need to speak out, and so I hope it landed right for many of you. And if it didn't, well, this is the time not to. I'm not too worried about that because I want to be clear that it's time to speak up, and we must use our platforms. This isn't political. This is humanity, and this is justice, and that's what we are. That's what we are sharing right now. And so all of us are speaking up. And as we have time for a few more songs, I'm trying to pick the best ones I can out of my group. And again, please, if you are donating virtually a tip, we are donating 100% today to Campaign Zero, who is fighting against police brutality. You're also, please, by all means, donate to whatever cause you like instead. It doesn't matter. We want to just know that we are giving back right now. Yep. Oh. Oh, you want to see the list? I skipped this one, and we're here. I need to make some choices, but I mean, what do you think?
Well, I definitely think you should do Alicia Keys, and I definitely, well, yeah,
Should this one?
I mean, I think you should definitely do Alicia Keys and Halo, and
Okay, I'll start there.
yeah.
Okay. We're gonna jump up to Alicia Keys. I played Alicia Keys in my 2000 set because it's a significant artist of contribution. I'm gonna play her again. This is Fallen. This is when she was only 20 years old. It was hit #1 in the U.S. in 2001 on her album Songs in A Minor. Very significant artist of today and for the last 20 years. What she's contributing to music, specifically bringing the piano back and making it relevant on stage for the solo artist to be playing and be that proficient.
So, and I just want to add on this. So I haven't read this book, but she recently released a book called More Myself, and I actually listened to a podcast interview of Alicia Keys speaking with Brene Brown, Brene Brown's podcast called Unlocking Us, and it was so moving, and I'm gonna buy her book based on that interview. So that's just my little tidbit and contribution on that.
For those of you in lockdown and getting stressed out for whatever reason, for many reasons, maybe you're falling in and out of love. Perhaps this is relevant too. Falling in and out of the space of love. This is Fallen, and we can always take a love song and make it even deeper with the collective of the love we're trying to come back to. So this is Falling in and Out of Love, Alicia Keys. Here we go. move right into a Beyonce tune that I haven't played yet in all my streaming, and this is perfect because we're appreciating Black American music, and now this is female empowering female women in their music, and so we'll go Alicia Keys to Beyonce. It's perfect. This is Halo. I'll give it a shot. right. I am. We're continuing with this theme today. I've been really happy to have so many people dialed in. I know there's so much going on in the world, and we're just giving a voice right now. I've dedicated the whole show to listening to music of Black Americans, and in different genres. I've tried to cover a span. I knew I was going to run out of some of the ones I wanted to play. I'm going to go back, and I was trying to go in order of the decades, and I ran out of time. So but I don't want to miss this one. This has been a theme song for many, and it's probably many people's theme songs now. This is "I Will Survive," and I'm not going to say too much more about it. I've talked about it before, but this is invoking all of us, specifically, the voices of Black Lives Matter. This is what we are standing in solidarity with. There's no time to fight with each other. We have a mission at hand, and right now it's specifically the police brutality. So we will survive together because we are joining together, one way or another. I will survive. Yes, we will survive because we unite together, and thought that's an appropriate song to play towards our finale. I know I said we weren't taking requests, and that's because I wanted to get to a very specific theme today, and I didn't want to go off track too much. We will be back on on Friday, and I actually had the Friday we canceled. My next theme was going to be, and it will likely be from 2010s to today. So there are a few artists I didn't get to today, including John Legend, but I figured I can continue with some of the the 2010s and closer to current next time if you want to join us. And of course, I'll be back to taking any request of any genre. Do you want to chime in?
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I mean, I was just going to say that we'd been on this, doing this sort of pattern of going through the decades on the Friday night streams, but there was just so much heaviness in the air, and it just seemed like Jeremy had already prepared it, but it just seemed so trite to do that, that topic on Friday. So, we'll probably do it next Friday, but, yeah, anyway.
All right, cool. So thank you again for tuning in. I'm going to go out with one more song. And also, Mel, if you want to say hi or something. She's been playing with Legos this whole time. So next time, I think we're going to get her jumping and grooving as well, because we're going to play some of her favorite songs as well, especially more current ones that are, these kids these days, what are they listening to? We're going to get to some of that next time. In the meantime, I want to end with Bill Withers' tune, because he most recently passed away, and I didn't know at the time, so I didn't give a tribute to him. So let's do A Lovely Day, and I want to just honor everybody again one more time, just giving honor, and I salute all my brothers and sisters who are out, I'm going to say out on the front lines, because it's dangerous out there. And we're fighting for, this is the cause we are uniting on, and that is fighting for justice. And the police must be looked at, we must hold them accountable. And there's only a way to do that, and it must be this way. And we must continue this fight, not just for a week, but we must continue to support and to keep growing and to speak out, because Black Lives Matter. And that is the message. And you've heard me going, if you saw most of this, I did share a lot, and I did express a little bit. So more out of the usual container we've been in with just doing music. But we all must do our part. So I call on all, if you have a platform, please take this time to speak up. We all need to hear it. People need to say it. We need to all say it in unison, that we support each other. We support Black Lives Matter. We support justice and equality for all. Thank you again. And let's imagine a lovely day that we can have, and remember the lovely days we've had, and let's try to transform the world together. We'll see you next time. Peace. Stay safe, and be well, my brothers and sisters.